Y'all just gonna sit there live?
Yo.
On celebrities trying to get them canceled. Cancel? Yeah. It's when you jeopardize the livelihood and reputation of someone based on something they did in the past.
Well, apparently we're having some technical difficulties, so we'll try that a little bit later. I don't know exactly what's going on. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Anthony Goodson. I'm your host for the night. This is rebrandUS that you're watching, and we're talking cancel culture. Let me introduce everybody with us. Down to your bottom right, we have Kimberly Dow.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Hey, Kimberly.
In the center there, we have Eric Russell.
What's going on, world?
Below me, we have Adrian The Ace Stinson. What's up, Ace? And of course, to my left, y'all,
what's up, everybody? How you doing?
Leonard, the income stream. I'm not real sure. What's the rest of that saying? Savant. Okay, Savant. My main man, and of course, my main man, my mentor, Kevin Woodson. Y'all put your hands
together. What up, fellas? What up?
I feel like I'm on Hollywood Squares.
I was there. Circle gets the square.
That's it.
Hey, tonight we got a very interesting subject that we're talking about. I'm excited about this subject because I just really learned what it is over the last few weeks or so, and it's called cancel culture. We didn't do a whole lot of promotion because we figured we'd get canceled on this culture. And last week, let me say, last week we were actually supposed to have this conversation, but I think 2 or 3 of our co-hosts canceled on us. So that's the kind of culture we're living in.
There it is. But
boom. That's a true story. All right, cancel culture.
Okay.
This is my definition of cancel culture. We're just going to go right through it today. We'll have conversations. Feel free to talk to us and tell us what you think cancel culture is and what you think, how you feel about it, really. And be sure to share. Let me put that on the screen. Share all night. Have fun.
Please share this page tonight.
Yeah, he got to say that 4 times. Remember that. Cancel culture involves taking a public stance against an individual or institution for actions considered objectionable or offensive. I'll read it again. Involves taking a public stance against an individual or an institution for actions considered objectionable or offensive. And that is the definition that we have for cancel culture. Eric, tell us a little bit more about cancel culture.
Oh, cancel culture, man. We've been talking about this for a while now, and it's something that gets really deep. If you talk about it too long, you need to go different rabbit holes and go school, you can go with kids, you can go religion, you can go a lot of different places with this. But for me, cancel culture is some, I really want Ace to give his definition for it, honestly, because he gives a really good deposition of how to tell the difference between cancel culture versus holding somebody accountable. Because I think that's a huge differential, trying to figure out how do you hold somebody accountable, but also what is the difference between that and cancel culture. So Ace, I'm gonna defer to you, bro.
When it comes to cancel culture, I guess my definition would be like, I'm mad at you, so I'm gonna ruin you, and you got to do it with the network too. You can't just say it, I'm mad at you, so That's it. Cancel culture, cancel culture to me is basically the kid on the playground who mad at you, so they go tell everybody else don't play with him.
That's a good analogy. That's a good analogy. Kevin, tell me what you think cancel culture. What's your definition?
I'm gonna come out of the same box because I like what everybody said. I'm gonna do something just a little different. I'm gonna say that a lot of white America does not want to make change. So because they're reluctant to make that change, they want to say that anybody's attempt to tell them that they should change about something is cancel culture.
Yeah.
And it's like a squeal back, oh my God, even though we just watched white conservatives cancel out Liz Cheney because she voted against Trump, but the same people that will cancel her out, and never did I think I would ever be defending Liz Cheney, but the same people that will cancel her out are now squealing because it's being done in other aspects. So it's a reluctance, I say, to make change.
Leonard.
Me, I'm always kind of on the fence with certain things, and I feel like there's actually like a slider basically. There's a range of where it can go, but I would say it's when someone kind of takes a stance, kind of along the lines of what Ace said, of you don't deserve to be where you are, or you don't deserve to be viewed in a positive light. So I'm going to do whatever I can to change that. And then that's just the attitude moving forward.
Kim?
Yes, I just think it's just recruiting haters, as people would say.
Oh, I like that.
So that's what I think. You know, some people just can't stand on their own beliefs, so they have to get people behind them to do certain things when it doesn't even have a real reason or a really good rhyme or reason for doing it. So I just think it's just recruiting haters. That's what I think.
So we got a lot of different situations that we can, the cancel culture has created, different cancel culture situations. Most recently, I think Leonard and I were talking about this last week. Deshaun Watson decided he wanted to play for another football team. So what did they do? They ganged up on him. And I don't know if there's any evidence yet that he raped any of these women or what's to come of that. But all of a sudden now he's raped all these women, and the whole city is against him. The whole country is against him at this point. So that's one of the issues or one of the situations that we've seen in cancel culture. Can y'all think of another one that stands out? I know you said Liz Cheney a moment ago, Kevin.
Right.
Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby. Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart had a situation where
he had to apologize.
Yeah,
he had to bow down and kiss the ring.
Kevin Hart was about to host the Oscars, and they went back 10 years in his time, in his comedy years or whatever, to find something that he said objectionable. And for those of you just joining us, we're talking cancel culture, and I read a definition earlier. For those of you who know what it is, give us yours. It involves taking a public stance against an individual or institution for actions considered objectionable or offensive. So what they did is they quote unquote took a public stance against Kevin Hart for saying the word. Should we say the word, Ace? I don't know. I think he said the word faggot. He said the word faggot in one of his one of his stand-ups, and so all the quote unquote faggot decided that they didn't like what he said and tried to get him canceled. So we've seen it. Now, Bill Cosby, explain that to me. I don't really know the cancel culture on Bill Cosby.
It's simple. Accusations were made, and they canceled. They do away with him. They canceled him. They got him rotting in jail. And now let me do my statements. Drugging and raping women is 150% wrong. However, when that case has been settled and these people decided that they want to settle, you gave up what you were accusing of for that settlement, but they went back for something that had been settled and sealed, unsealed, and then they went out and recruited, like Kim said, they went out and recruited like 50 people that said, he did the same thing. I'm wondering, when did he have time to make these movies and do the Cosby Show? If he was drugging, it seemed like that was the bulk of his day, drugging these women and things like that. But that's part of the cancel culture's world. Gang up on him and let's get rid of the show. And they were talking about they didn't want to see. They were even trying to come out to different world and all that kind of stuff. It was just like, come on, man.
Well, let me say this. Like anything, I think something can run amok, because there's aspects rather of cancel culture that are like, Then there's some aspects of cancel culture, like I started off talking about, that it's like, okay, there's logic there. But that's why I brought in that part about being reluctant to change, because as I said, there are a lot of people, and now that Black people have stepped up the demand societally and are asking for things, there are a lot of people that are saying, oh, now this has just gone too far. I think it was HBO that decided to stop showing Gone with the Wind. Y'all remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, of course, that angered some people because, they romanticize the South. Now, everybody, I can't speak for everybody here, but I know I'm one that's like, wasn't anything romantic to me. But now that people are coming face to face with that reckoning of this, you got some that'll squeal and they'll squeal unnecessarily, then you got some that, you know, that are right, that it might be a little something that's a little bit too much over the edge.
I'm glad you said that, because I think you know, I'm against the well, first you have to think about it in the sense of, they call it cancel culture, and whenever something's a culture, it becomes a norm. You know, this is what we do. You know, it's not just somebody did something bad and, you know, hey, you know, we're gonna shut this guy down, things like that. Now, you know, when you have the well, can't even say that, because, you know, you have the child molesting and stuff like that still producing movies and selling at the box office and all this kind of stuff. But, you know, when you shut guys like that down, hey, that's fine. You know, when we call it a culture, you know, you get mad at everybody and want to shut them down. You know, you don't want to, you're not going to listen to Kevin Hart's comedy anymore if he doesn't apologize. You have people cancel culture in the NFL and NBA because LeBron's speaking out against injustices.
Exactly.
You know, they did it to the Dixie Chicks. You know, it goes both ways. It's black and white. You know, the Dixie Chicks took a stand on something. They canceled them, and, you know, it's just crazy. It's like cancel culture can it's can almost be equivalent to a weapon. You know, just flat out equivalent.
Okay, so you say it's almost equivalent to a weapon. My question is, how close to it is it to bullying? Cancel culture. Is there a fine line between?
It depends on the incident and the basis.
There you go. I like that. Yeah.
It depends on the incident. Like I think his name is Chris Harrison, the guy that used to do what do you call it? The Bachelorette. Remember, and he stepped down because it was made hot. But see, in his case, he basically said, and I'm paraphrasing, because one of the girls, if you remember, to tell it quickly, she was from the South, and she participated in this like antebellum type, Southern Belle type party, and it, you know, with all these racial overtones to it, or racist overtones to it, I'll say. And then so he tried to defend her participation by saying that, well, if you're a white kid basically raised up in the South, this is part of your culture. I don't deny that, but at the same time, just because it's part of your culture doesn't mean that it isn't truly offensive to other scores of people.
Right.
So as a result, he was taking the task for that.
Because chitlins is part of our culture, and I find them offensive.
Well, only when they cook it.
Lord.
Only when they cook it.
Hey, when we come back, we're going to dive a little bit more into this cancel culture thing. I want to talk a little bit more about how it's a bullying situation, how they're destroying people who may have done some things, and can we grow from who we used to be, and why do they dive back so far? So definitely want to talk about that when we come back.
It's smart.
If you just think about it, everybody that has had a harm or a foul done to them has been paid some form of reparations. It's up for us.
It's informative.
Systemic racism is a form of racism that is embedded as normal practice within society or an organization.
It's funny.
We were doing a march for equal rights for people in the adult industry with missing limbs.
Because that's the thing I feel our community is missing the most. We just don't take action. We're so skeptical of so many things that we wind up being the ones holding ourselves back.
It's rebrandUS.
I'm a part of the host. Good, bro. What you up to? Nothing much. Just looking up old videos and old tweets on celebrities trying to get them canceled. Canceled? Yeah. It's when you jeopardize the livelihood and reputation of someone based on something they didn't have. Oh, wow. I'm a part of the most toxic community on the internet. It's what we do. Okay. Yep. We have to hold people accountable for what they've done in the past, regardless of who they are today. You don't judge people based on who they are now. You judge them on who they were. I mean, honestly, to cancel someone, it doesn't even have to be something they did in the past. It could be something they did today. You think that they might do tomorrow. Shit. Nowadays, we cancel people for no reason. You can do absolutely nothing. We'll cancel you. The most effective way to cancel someone is to create our own narrative and turn a subgroup against that celebrity. What do you mean? Okay, like J. Cole, for instance. He said in a recent song, it's something about this queen tone that's bothering me. We took that line, twisted it, and we created the narrative that says J. Cole is telling black women to watch their tone, telling them to shut the fuck up and sit down. Now J. Cole is a misogynist that hates black women. Is that what he meant? Was that the intent? Probably not. But that's the thing with cancel culture. We create our own narratives. We don't follow logic or facts. We follow the herd. Oh. So what do y'all get out of all this? I don't know. But sometimes we bully people into apologizing just to say that their apology isn't sincere. It's fucking great. Wow. This video isn't even funny. No, this is just actually sad. And this is life. And I don't even know how to end this.
I like that. Goodson, you're muted, by the way, so your words are going.
I said he was going to go ahead and end that with a third F-bomb, so I went ahead and stopped it pretty early.
You can't have F-bombs if you can't have 3. What's the use in 2 F-bombs?
Don't cancel it.
Cancel culture. That's what we're talking about tonight with rebrandUS. I am your host for the night, Anthony Goodson, alongside Adrian The Ace Stinson, Eric Russell, Kimberly Dow, and our special, great, super intelligent co-host, our guest, Kevin Woodson, and Leonard McDonald. Leonard, the income stream savant McDonald, that is.
Hey, Leonard, you need a boxing announcer to do your name. Leonard, the income stream savant McDonald.
They're supposed to do it with the Floyd Mayweather fight, but you know.
Okay.
It's about that time for rebrand. What? What's up, Eric? What you got for us?
But today I just want to talk about real quick about since we were supposed to be on last week and the anniversary of the Tulsa massacre happened, and I kind of wanted to just make sure we brought that up a little bit today to kind of highlight what that was back in the day for the black people. And it's super important for us to remember what that was and how enlightening that was for the community, our community, even the United States as a whole, honestly. But black businesses that was flourishing, all kind of businesses, banks, churches, any kind of business that you can even think of, were all there. So I just kind of wanted to highlight that real quick, so we can don't forget that. So we didn't get a chance to be on last week. So please go back and read history about the Tulsa massacre and the 100-year anniversary of what that was, Black Wall Street. And it can be rebuilt, it can be redone. And it's got to be just only black, but hopefully we get more communities involved in rebuilding that was across the bridge, right? But definitely want to give homage to all those people who lost their lives in that massacre, and also want to give homage to those people that paved the way to let us know that we can get there, no matter how it looks now. We can still get there. So there we go.
All right, I like that.
If we got real close, do you think that there will be some kind of cancel culture, Kevin, against black people? Black people are starting to climb the ladder. Maybe there was a reparation involved. I don't know if Kevin's frozen, but it looks like maybe one day we're going to get there. Will there be some kind of a cancel culture that eliminates that possibility?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, we can hear you.
Can anybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
okay, I lost y'all, but you can hear me. Well, I think that's happening now in a sense, in some things. That's why I say you have to take so much of this on a case-by-case basis. So, yeah, a lot of that is happening. But I mean, that to me is just going to be part of it. Like I think the lady said, Kimberly said, it's like recruiting haters. So those that are against certain black issues and causes will round up their haters, be they politically or racially or whatever, and decide to say whatever that instance is, that, okay, we're going to cancel y'all out. That's wrong.
So let's talk. We're talking about cancel culture for those just joining us. Let's talk a little bit more about freedom of speech. We'll wait on Kevin to go right side up.
I like that. Kind of hanging out.
Okay, there y'all are.
There we go.
Okay, I don't know why my phone started tripping.
So, I think one of the things we threw out there earlier was cancel culture. Is it bullying? And I mean, all of us are probably going to agree for the most part that's what it is. But how is it not just freedom of speech? I feel like this is wrong. And what I want to do is I want to say something about it. Is it the fact that they have to go and gather so many people to be on their side, or is it freedom of speech? Leonard, what do you think?
I think there are a lot of times where cancel culture has to cancel culture itself. If you look at the situation with Bill O'Reilly and Ludacris, that's crazy how things are now flipped, where he's under investigation for doing the things that he claimed Ludacris was backing with his music. And then you go a step further, and now he's planning a tour with someone. I'll let you guess who. I said, grab her by the... So it kind of makes you think, okay, what was that really about? Like how, and at what point do you get held accountable for what you were so vehemently against, and you now cause Pepsi to drop Ludacris and the commercial they had with them? When do you take responsibility for the effect that you had on that person's life?
So we've given the name cancel culture, but is this a new phenomenon? Has this been going on for 50 years, 100 years, or is this something new because of social media?
Yeah, it's been going. I think it's taken off. It's grown because of social media, but this has been going on since forever.
Absolutely.
Well, Eric just gave us an example. Black Wall Street was cancel culture. That was cancel culture at the extreme. We don't like what you're doing, so we're gonna cancel you out.
Right. I just think it gives people a voice to pick and choose what they want to hate on, basically what they don't like, and like I said, recruit. I think of Michael Vick whenever I think about cancel culture, because his total career just went down the drain. And true enough, whatever he was doing with the dog fighting or whatever was not legal. It wasn't right, but he wasn't the only one. So I just feel like
it ain't legal.
I'm sorry.
But it don't necessarily have to be that high though, right? I mean, I guess if you're a celebrity, they're not going to do any cancel culture on us six, right? But I think if you're a celebrity, any little small thing you do, you can have any kind of group to come in and say, I don't like it, I can't do it, so I'm going to go ahead and form a group of people, and we're going to just go against that person. And it's so, I don't know that it's really slander, because possibly it's true, but it's very I don't even know the word I'm looking for, but it's intentionally trying to hurt someone.
Mm-hmm.
What about the let's flip the script. What about the I guess what we call them Karens, the white people who've been caught on camera saying the N-word, and everybody gets together and bans and calls for their job, and they lose their jobs?
That's true.
That's the same, because I mean, and honestly, that's why I don't like cancel culture, period. I think it's situational. Certain. Now, if you're a medical professional, as far as handling people, I'm not against you losing your job, because I don't need you being biased in the time when somebody needs you. Right. But I mean, go ahead, Kevin.
Well, no, I was going to say, but see, the same thing you're saying there goes for those other companies that fired the Karens, because what they're saying is that you gave our company a bad light, and we don't want you there anymore. So my point is, it's not that I don't like, I think cancel culture, as it's being named, or being canceled, that's what I like to say, being canceled has its place. But it depends on what it is. Spanking has its place, because I'm sure you all, like me, got spankings too, but my mother didn't just go upside my head with a 2x4 because I sneezed or something, so that would have been abuse. Yeah, you the only one, man. You the only one. But I'm saying that's my point.
I guess it's just a matter of actually taking the chance of whether you're going to be made an example out of, because you're, of course, celebrities, they're more prone to be made an example out of, because we're all looking at them, So I'm sorry, I have a bad connection, but we're all looking at them, and of course, if they do something to them, if they punish them, then we're all going to be leery to do the same thing that they did. So I'm
I'm gonna come from this odd angle, and y'all will say, "What made him say this?" But this is for real though. The way the South handled the Civil War after the Civil War handled that loss, that was cancel culture, because there was a woman. Her name was Mildred Rutherford. And she came, this is the early 1900s, and she came up with this. She was a historian and all this, you know, she was pro-slavery, so we know where she stood. And she had this book called The Measuring Rod for Textbooks. And in essence, without getting long drawn out, what it did, it actually said that any textbook that portrayed the South as being anything negative would get stamped and was canceled and was not used in Southern classrooms. And a lot of that led, and because of that, you led to this propaganda that a lot of white people in the South have taken under, and time passes on, and that led to those little kids back then having other kids that grew up to be those racists in the 50s and 40s and 60s and carrying on. Yeah. So it was like that. That's an example of cancel culture. Even you monkeyed with all of history on that one.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to even piggyback on the boycott statement that we mentioned earlier and say that, you know, it's really a boycott with no sustenance, perhaps. You know, because, I mean, obviously the bus boycott of, you know, the 50s or whatever was certainly a cancel culture, but with a purpose. Right. It has some sustenance to it. Yes. So I think that it can actually have, if it has some merit to it, because here's the problem that I have. We call it cancel culture. We call it boycott. Boycott has a purpose. Cancel culture is just haters, like Kim said earlier. But if you do too many cancel culture situations, eventually when you finally do a boycott situation that actually makes sense, what are they going to do? They're going to label it as a cancel culture. And so now you start not getting any kind of results. So to me, I think it's very important that we draw the line and define the line and understand what the line is, so that whenever one happens, we know, oh, okay, we can put it in that box versus this box. Anyway, when we come back, we're going to be talking a little bit more about this cancel culture. Ace's place is up. I'm pretty excited. This is going to be a good show to y'all. Hey, be sure to share tonight. Share. I think we got 2 or 3 shares going on. We want to have like 10 tonight. We got Kevin Woodson and Leonard McDonald. See y'all in just a bit.
Leonard.
So what's that number again?
I'll take over from here. Call Tanisha Vaughn at 903-458-7171 or Latoya Phelps at 210-264-4415, and they can help you with life insurance with no medical exam, affordable monthly payments for ages 45 through 85. Again, the number is 903-458-7171 or 210-264-4415.
rebrandUS. It's motivating, inspiring. It's a conversation that needs to be had. It's Adrian The Ace Stinson.
If you're not going to help, don't hurt.
Eric Russell.
We need financial literacy. We also need to get over this level of fear that we have.
Anthony Goodson.
That my ancestors, whether they were slaves, innovators, or the first blacks to do something, their lives had a purpose.
It's unique to any other podcast. It's Rebrand You, Rebrand Me. It's rebrandUS.
It's smart.
If you just think about it, everybody that has had a harm or a foul done to them has been paid some form of reparations. It's up for us.
It's informative.
Systemic racism is a form of racism that is embedded as normal practice within society or an organization.
It's funny.
We were doing a march for equal rights for people in the adult industry with missing limbs.
Because that's the thing I feel our community is missing the most. We just don't take action. We're so skeptical of so many things that we wind up being the ones holding ourselves back.
It's rebrandUS.
All right, y'all, we are back and we are talking cancel culture. But now it's time for Ace's place. What's up, Ace?
What's going on, everybody? That's everybody.
What
You
it
giving
is?
Kevin, I'm saying you giving Kevin the spotlight on Ace play with
Oh, that is that.
Yeah, maybe drop that third F bomb we tried to cut out.
See that?
He really wanted that F ball. He's still on record.
Yeah, I know we rooting for it. You know what? I had two things, so I'm trying to. I really was trying to decide which one I'm talking about. I guess so since we're talking about council culture, I do want to. I'm gonna bring this up, and really because we were talking about how it's situational, but I just want to show how ignorant some people can be into the extent that they'll take it. Just to you have these weirdos who didn't have a voice at first. Now we have social media and everything, and they want to feel important in some type of way. So Disney is receiving backlash from the Snow White remake. And the reason they're receiving backlash is because people are saying that the prince kissed her while she was asleep and he didn't have consent. And this is a real thing going on. They're mad at Disney over Snow White. The prince did not have consent to kiss her, and they're mad because he kissed her while she was asleep. And I just wanted to bring that up, just kind of show the
prince needs to go down and register as a sexual predator.
The prince needs to be convicted, as a predator.
In the cell with R. Kelly.
Yeah.
Him and Bill Cosby.
He's like, what you in here for? But yeah, I just wanted to just kind of talk about that as far as we take things too far at times. I think in society we have to take a stand against wrong, but we also have to take a stance against ignorance as well. We can't hop on every bandwagon every time you hear something. I think a lot of times now in society we're so negative that just anything that's against someone, we'll jump on. Right now, allegation is a conviction now. If someone said, hey, you did this, there's not like a fair trial, and the public says, let's see what goes on. As soon as you're accused, you're guilty, no matter what it is. And oftentimes,
Black folks always had that.
Oh yeah. And then oftentimes, once you're found innocent, they don't even go back and they don't even press the innocence. They leave it as it is. And so in the public eye, you're guilty. And the prime example I always use, and I'm pretty sure I feel like everybody else, but right is right. If you say you believe in the justice system and you think it works, then you have to fix your attitude about OJ. The man was found guilty.
Not guilty. Innocent.
I mean, the man was found innocent. I'm sorry. He is guilty. He was acquitted. So what I'm saying is you can't say it on one thing. So when you have unarmed people being murdered and you're saying, oh, the justice system works, they did the evidence. That's fine. But it works the same across the board. So OJ is innocent. You deal with that. And you have to
theoretically, you're right.
Yeah. And so, I just want to bring it theoretically.
I'm glad you caught that. Theoretically, you're right.
Hey, listen, we all know the juice got loose, but the same way you have some of these bad cops that just flat out kill somebody, they got loose as well. Absolutely. So if the justice system works, it works. Now, if you think OJ is guilty, then we have to admit that we have some flaws in the justice system that needs to be handled. So, in saying that, in that sense, with the council culture, we have to take I think we all need to take a step back and evaluate things and let them play out before we just jump on the council bandwagon.
Absolutely,
and I agree with that. But that's why I say, go ahead, Chief.
Oh no, I was just going to say this is what Anthony and I were talking about. Like a week or so ago with Deshaun Watson. It's not even so much that, yes, no one in the media has anything to do to go up against cancel culture. They just accept it. But then when you take it the next step further, where when it comes to the change that it has on people's lives, whether wrong or right, they're also just fine with accepting that. So with Deshaun Watson, there's nothing anyone has ever said bad about him whatsoever. It was one of the reasons people were so high on him coming out of college, because he was quoted to have impeccable character. And so they're already saying, they said this, about a month or so ago, how regardless of what happens with this case, even if he's found even if he's found innocent, he'll never be looked at the same. He'll never have the same reputation. But so they're saying even if he didn't do anything wrong, where there's still no he hasn't even been charged with anything yet. But he's already now, his character has taken this blow that's irredeemable, even though he hasn't done anything. Like that there's a problem there.
Yeah, that's what I like to say. I think cancel. I hate to put the culture on it, but I think people being canceled does have its place.
Yes.
But we can't run after every rabbit that shoots out the bushes, as they say. It's not always what they say it is. Just like every time black people cry racism, it doesn't mean that it is racism. But guess what? A whole lot of times it is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let's change the tune a little bit. We're talking about cancel culture. You're watching rebrandUS. And, as far as cancel culture is concerned, I'm thinking that we have reporters out in the world, and these reporters are called comedians. They make us laugh, right? They report some of the things that's going on in the world, and they kind of keep us entertained. Now, we talked about Kevin Hart a little bit, and I'm sure there's other comedians we can come up with, Dave Chappelle for sure, who has been quote unquote canceled. Do y'all think that comedians should 100%, without a shadow of a doubt, unless their name is Andrew Dice Clay, just completely be off limits for any kind of cancel culture?
Of course they should be off limits. They're comedians. It's Joe, from when we go to these places, we're going with the expectation of a joke. So which meaning regardless of what they said, they were trying to make you laugh. They were trying to be funny. Now if it's something outside the essence, like your boy Kramer or whatever his name is, yes, he should be canceled. I think, he didn't slip up and say the N word. He put he hit repeats on vibrate. So it's certain things, but I mean, like I remember people used to didn't like Andrew Dice Clay. I think Andrew Dice Clay is hilarious, and people, he's racist, stuff like that, and people don't know he's the one that brought Eddie Griffin out. He gave him his start, and things like that. So with the comedians, you have to, don't watch it or don't I never understood why people walk out on a comedian show. You went to a comedy show.
Exactly.
You see it with Paul Mooney. You used to see it with Paul Mooney all the time. 2 or 3 couples would get up and leave. I'm like, what did you expect going to see Paul Mooney? Like, I'm not going to see David Duke speak.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to see the Klan comic.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure what he's going to be, talking about or whatever. But just like,
exactly.
Freedom of speech goes, and I tell people, there's always A and a B side to it. The same way we have freedom of speech, they have freedom of speech. If the Klan wants to get up and talk about their rhetoric and talk about how, they're trying to save this country and we're taking over stuff like that, I don't like it. But unfortunately, these laws and this constitution we have says that they can do that. Now, on the same part, they have to respect, my mind and what I say. And I think that's what people have to realize.
All right, so now we got a comment. Shantae Dunn Tyler, she said, that's a slippery slope. Who has the final authority to determine who gets a pass or not? Who has the final authority to determine who gets a pass or not?
Wait a minute, is Shantae? I thought she was still in paradise. Is you back in the real world, Shantae? With the blue water.
That's a good question. I'm gonna throw that to Kevin. Kevin, who has the right who has the final authority to determine who gets a pass or not?
Well, that's a tough question to answer, but I'm gonna say common sense, which ain't common, but common sense, because like I said, everything that you might want to say is cancel worthy isn't to be canceled. It doesn't have to be. That's what we've been saying throughout the show. So she asked a great question, but I would throw that responsibility to common sense. Because again, if you ask look at Colin Kaepernick, for example. We all understand what he's kneeling for, and there are certain sectors of white people that understand what he's kneeling for. But those that just don't want it under any circumstances are going to cancel him. So again, they'll have their side, I'll have mine. I'll just have to say common sense.
So now, Donald Trump. Donald Trump, I think it's pretty popular that people either loved him or hate him. It's pretty. We know that. But for those people who did all that they could to get him out of office, some people even say that maybe the coronavirus was created just so we can get him out of office. Was he a victim of cancel culture himself, Kim? What do you think?
No, I don't think so. I think he's just a victim of people just calling him out on his ignorance, period. I mean, so I feel like just cancel culture it doesn't prevent you from speaking out on what you believe. I don't think that. I just think you're able to speak out, but you don't have to be the hype man for everybody else. Say, hey, everybody, let's do this because he's doing this. Everybody is. I think it's just a group of people that are willing to come together and stand for what they believe is right.
So, do you think
we should have canceled him a long time ago? If you ask me, yes, we should
Interesting.
Canceled Donald Trump a long time ago.
His mother should have done that.
We pick and choose. I mean, because all the controversy of Donald Trump was well preceded him being a president. We saw grab him by this. We saw all those things before, but we didn't want to count. So we pick and choose. Now, misery loves company. Misery loves company. When I think about cancel culture, I think about an individual who is in misery and they have to join another group who's in misery to create misery for another person or another group. Would that be accurate?
Yeah, I follow you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that.
I don't think Trump should have been canceled. He should have been voted out. But as far as like how he was canceled off Twitter and stuff like that, grown people.
Well, you know why I would disagree. You know why I would disagree with you on that. One is because it's a private organization; they have the right. But here's where it comes down to that fine line. At least I think you're the president of the United States. You're the most powerful man on the planet. And you use these platforms to disseminate outright lies. Yeah. So at some point, somebody's got to pull your mic and say, click.
Right. And then
if I jumped on this show.
Nancy and Ronnie, when they were saying at that point when they were trying to say about not having sex and stuff, nobody listened to Nancy and Ronnie.
Exactly, but you know what? He made Nancy and Ronnie look like Ozzy and Harry because he went far beyond. He took lying to a whole new degree.
Yeah,
that's one thing he did. He took lying to. I mean,
I respect the way he stood behind his lies too. I like how he just lied with a like. I'm kind of jealous.
Oh
when
yeah,
he just lied with a straight face. Like 2 + 2 is 9.
Hey, look,
he's what you call a scary liar. Yeah. He's a scary liar because he can tell them between 2 drops of rain and just keep on going. I mean, that's.
I don't mean to get off subject, but don't y'all just miss him a little bit?
Oh,
he'll be back.
You can't miss him. He's still everywhere.
Right, he's still everywhere.
With Bill O'Reilly.
I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna bite my tongue. But as a comic, the only thing Donald Trump did was give you material every day, and comedy wasn't worth sacrificing society for.
And on that note, I think I'm gonna go to a video. We're gonna go to a quick break, and then we're coming back with Kim's gonna read a poem. No, I'm just kidding. Eric.
I was waiting to hear it.
Eric has got a little something for us. I'll see y'all in just a bit.
I know for a fact Jesus would have canceled me for half the stuff I've done. Shoot, honestly, if half my Instagram, social media knew half of my darkest secrets, I'm sure they would cancel me in an instant. And that's the thing I don't understand and why I pretty much hate cancel culture is because it goes so far to your mistakes in your past and leaves you right there and doesn't allow you room to grow. And even if you have made mistakes in the past, it puts you in a place where you don't even want to tell people about those if someone is in that same place because you're scared of being cast away yourself. So I think cancel culture is honestly not the best thing for society because when we look deep down, we all have made mistakes. We all are imperfect, and I don't understand how someone could shun someone for being human. There's exceptions, but we're still human at the end of the
Rebrand us. It's motivating.
Almost
Inspiring.
every night I pray
It's a conversation that
when
needs to be had. It's Adrian The Ace Stinson.
If you're not gonna help, don't hurt.
Eric Russell.
We need financial literacy. We also need to get over this level of fear that we have.
Anthony Goodson.
That my ancestors, whether they were slaves, innovators, or the first blacks to do something, their lives had a purpose.
It's unique to any other podcast. It's Rebrand You, Rebrand Me. It's rebrandUS.
Well, that one didn't want to go away, did it? All right, Eric, what you got for us?
Well, I was gonna say, man, you put me on the spot after that video, boy. That's pretty solemn. You know what I'm saying? The guy with the marks on his face and things like that. But it kind of made me think about this poll again. And like, hey, there's some million things I can talk about on this show, man. But we did a poll, but we hadn't discussed it yet a couple weeks ago. So I wanted to bring it out so we can talk about it a little bit today. But the poll was, what is harder for you to say to just pretty much anybody? 3 options where I need help, I'm sorry, and I love you. Out of 28 people, 24 people reported that the most difficult thing for them to say is that they need help. To me, I'm gonna tie back into the video actually. Like the guy said, everybody's human, and I think the negativity that goes on in the world makes people less vulnerable, right? So if I can't be vulnerable if I feel like somebody's gonna react a certain way and I'm not get the response that I need from them. So I think that plays into the fact that the majority of it, and I was one of the ones that voted for I need help. And the point of that is that I think we have to give each other grace, we have to give each other mercy in order for us to ask for help when we do need help. Because there is no reason for us to be struggling in the world as much as we do when we have people that could help us but won't help us because we haven't asked for the help, right? So hopefully we can shift this around a little bit. Hopefully we can all say all of these things eventually at some point, so we are going to be vulnerable with each other. May not happen this side of heaven. I don't know, but that doesn't mean we don't try to make it happen on this side of heaven. Also, too, I wanted to kind of put a little lighter note on the end of this segment here. We got a lot of different high school graduates, college graduates that happened this week. My goddaughter graduated today. Whoop, whoop, Sydney. But there's a lot of people that graduated this year, and I want to make sure that everybody get the congratulations that they deserve. We support you guys, no matter what race, what culture, whatever you come from. We know that you stepping into this world, a new world now. That 18 and out of high school, what does that mean? It means so many different things to so many different people. But hopefully you have people surround you, that support system around you, that you can create the world that you want for yourself. And hopefully we can help support the ones that's around us in this time. So congratulations to all the high school, college graduates. Good luck. God bless you.
Let's keep that screen up real quick. And I always tell people that the first 5 years out of high school could be the most important years of your life. The first 5 years, that's why you go to college right then. That's why you go to the military and all those things. The first 5 years are the most important, could be the most important because people make changes. But I need help is one of the things that a lot, like obviously people are not able to say. Leonard, I want to throw that to you. Why is it so hard for people to say, I need help?
Because in a sense, they're saying that they aren't enough, and no one wants to feel like they aren't enough or admit that they aren't enough. But, in reality, that's the first step you have to take in order to actually make a change. I used to wonder, how they'll say the first step is admitting it. Like, I never really understood that, but it's like until you actually admit that there's something wrong, you don't have a reason to change anything. So once you actually sit down and say, I need help, you now begin to open doors and avenues for help to come. Whereas if you never say it, you're closing those doors.
And Kim, I think one of them was, I love you. From a woman's standpoint, why is I love you such a tough thing for people to say?
I think I love you is a tough thing for some people to say. It's because it just might be a brick wall. It's a defense mechanism to keep them getting hurt. because once you put yourself out there, if you tell someone that you love them, then you're kind of putting yourself out there. You're kind of opening doors for different things to happen, whether it's in a friendship, whether it's in a relationship, or whatever, any kind of ship that you're in. You're opening doors for other things to happen. And so some people, they have the different definitions of love. Some people don't know how to love. Some people don't know how to reciprocate how you feel, how they feel. What do I want to say? It's like they don't know how to love you the way that you love them. So that's hurtful in the end. So I think that's why people are reluctant.
Kevin, I'm sorry was on the list. What is harder for you to say? Yeah. I'm sorry is on the list. Why is it so hard for people, especially when they know they're wrong, to say I'm sorry?
Yeah. You know what? That boggles me, because I will say that, because I think nobody likes a know-it-all. So if you can say I'm sorry, or if you can say I'm wrong, or oh my bad, that makes you look more human, and I think that gives you a better likability. But if you always, I know that, or you try to take something and parlay it into being right, or to where the other person's always got to be wrong, then it's like, get him off here.
That's good. That's good.
So Ace, I'm gonna pull up the screen one more time. Ace and Eric, in the world of cancel culture, how could this help? How could this eliminate that as a problem? Eric.
I was just thinking about this. We should start a campaign where it's cancel culture right now, but we should start a campaign hashtags cancel hate or cancel haters, because we got to get rid of that stuff. Because you get rid of hate. What's the opposite of hate? It's love. Right. So if we create that love and get rid of that hate, man, the sky's the limit. And I can't really imagine that for this world, honestly, but I know we can. I know there's possibilities. Once again, if God gave it to us, He can take us through it. He take us through it, right? So I think we should start campaign cancel hate or cancel haters.
Yeah. Ace?
As far as that, the poll and how it can relate to cancel culture, I'm really wondering if the how much weight the I'm sorry would carry. And as far as in the cancel culture, I think I'm sorry is not really accepted in cancel culture. It's kind of like, it's too late. You can say I'm sorry, but it's like, nah, it's too late. You did it. But the number one, I need help. I think that would be a big thing if more people would admit, hey, I need help. We've even had people reach out to us, different people on this show that said, I need help. I'm racist. I need help. Not just dealing with racism, but that I need help, I think goes a long way. And I think that's a very important one. Who knows, some of the people that have been canceled, if they had if they had admitted they need help, prior to, who knows, they may have never been canceled.
I wanted to say this. I think all three involves just letting your guard down, period. Letting your guard down and receiving love, giving love, letting your guard down, just to say, hey, I'm sorry. Sometimes you have to step out of a situation and kind of look at things in a realistic way and see what it is. And just letting your guard down and putting your pride to the side and saying that you need help. So,
well, people who usually get canceled, is, like I said earlier, it's not one of us six, not our stature, maybe Kevin's, but not the rest of us. No. And so we, they're very vulnerable. They're on a high stat. It's really hard for a Michael Jordan to say I need help. It's really hard for a Michael Jordan to say I'm sorry, or whatever the case may be. So, for people like them, Kevin Hart and all these people, even I don't think Kevin Hart ever apologized, which I personally don't believe he should have. But cancel culture is going for people who know or have that vulnerability, and they know they're not going to apologize, and yet they'll get more publicity, if nothing else, for it. Anyway,
know what though? You know what? Hopefully, they have a support system around them where they can say I need help, and they can say I'm sorry, and they can say I love you. So they may not say it publicly, and that's totally fine. Don't say stuff like that publicly. But that's a lesson for anybody, because any 6 of us could be in the next 6 months to a year making a lot of money, doing big grand things that may put us on the same level as some of those people, or something mid-level, whatever case, but we become vulnerable at that point. So even going up to the level financially, or in the stream of that, then learn to have a support system around you that you can be accountable for.
Well, I tell you what, if we get rich and things like that, and the scandal whatever come up, I did it. I'm not sorry.
I'm not sorry.
I hate
Hey,
it.
well,
I think
in just
you
a
would hold
minute,
out more respect if you just admit and just say, "Hey, I did it," or "I'm sorry." You know what I mean? I thought she was 18 and not 14.
Whoa, wait! Don't follow me up with that. I wasn't talking about that now. No.
I didn't notice the diaper.
the drop fast speed turns me on. She put my hand on my knee. I put my foot on the gas. We almost got whipped. That's Will Smith. I took you. I'm sorry. Hey, before Kim gives us her poem in a little bit.
It's smart.
If you just think about it.
Sorry, y'all, I got the wrong one.
Hey, yo, Ace, who do we have on the show next week?
I'm discussing the topics that have to deal with the black family. You know the food or the drink is good when the person says swallow instead of swallow. We do have a new sponsor. Today's show was brought to everybody by Pastor Jim Jones Flavor Kool-Aid. Let's all take a nap. Married couples that swing at the playground, are they confused or just risk takers? Giggity giggity.
Catch Adrian The Ace Stinson and the rest of the rebrandUS crew live Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. Central on YouTube and Instagram at rebrandUS Podcast, Facebook at rebrandUS, or rebrandUS.org.
All right, Ace, what do we have next week?
Next week, I think we got a real enjoyable show. I went down and found a group of guys I think we're all going to be able to enjoy and have a laugh. We're going to be interviewing circus clowns with bad attitudes.
All right.
Bitch, I'm off the clock.
Oh, man. Well,
that's it. Real good group of guys.
You know what? Next week, I think we got this poetry reading we're going to be doing.
Yeah.
Everybody, we're going to be doing some poetry next week.
Give me poems.
Roses are red, violets are blue.
You know,
next week, Kim, is all on you.
Hey, one day we're gonna actually come the next week with one of Ace's topics, though. It's gonna be really interesting when that actually happens.
Oh yeah, hey, everybody be down playing. When y'all come on here and y'all see about 5 circle clowns on here, and they got their makeup pointed down like that.
I can find you some clowns with some bad attitudes now. Tell
We're gonna have them on there. Every question you ask, what?
Yeah. Kevin. Hey, Kevin is pretty big in the Cowboys of Color. Tell them all about it.
Yeah.
Oh, shucks. We got I don't know the date yet, but I think this is our first post-COVID rodeo coming up at the end of near the end of June. I think the 21st. It is going to be in Dallas, Texas, at the big auditorium down there, right off of across from the Cotton Bowl.
Right. So, Kevin, while you're on the screen and we're about to wrap it up, tell us where we can find you, what's going on with you. Give them a place where they can go online and find Kevin Woodson.
Oh man, you know what? I'm almost incognito online, but you can go to KWOO319@AOL.com and you can drop me a line and I will answer you back.
Right on. Hey, you know what? When I first met Kevin, this is 20 years ago. Almost to the day, maybe about 2 or 3 months. But back then, people used to be in the chat room all the time. So I worked with Kevin. He did the Tom Joyner Morning Show, and he did Doug Banks. So there was a little room right in between the two that me and Kevin would hang out in all the time. And Kevin literally would be in the chat room chatting about all these things with all these people and just kind of batting them down, left and right. I used to sit there and watch. It was the coolest thing. So if you send him a note about any subject, anything, I guarantee you'll be entertained, if not educated.
But if I don't know it, I'll tell you. I'll admit I don't know.
Oh, he'll know. I'm going to go ahead and put him out there like that. Leonard, how can we find you and what do you have going on?
I actually have a masterclass coming up in about 2.5 weeks. It's for authors at lifechangingauthors.com. You can go ahead and sign up there, or just sign up if you want to talk about your book, whether it's done or you're still in the process of writing it. And we can just go from there.
So Leonard's been on the crusade the last few weeks. He's been to Vegas. He's been to, check this out. I'm about to say a city that y'all probably never even heard of before. He's been to Boise, Idaho.
Oh, Boise, Idaho.
Learning
and he
great
made
things.
it back alive.
Did the plane break down or did the bus break down? Or?
All right, so I'm going to throw it back to my co-host. Any final words to you guys? For you guys. Kim?
I just feel like cancel culture is something that just needs to be, I think it's good in some aspects, in some aspects it's not. So it just depends upon the situation, like Kevin said, and that's all that I have to say.
Eric?
A couple things. Something I'll be doing more of also too. We'll be having some surveys and some dialogue around maturity levels for talking about personal inventory of how we process information. But sometimes your opinion needs to stay in your head. It don't need to come out your mouth.
That's a good way. Ace?
You can find me at Adrian Stinson at gmail.com. You drop me a line as well. I'll definitely chat with you. And unlike Kevin, if I don't know, I'm literally gonna just make it up.
I hear you. I hear you.
And also final words. I 100% agree with Monique.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow. Well, you know what?
Y'all didn't say that about Little House on the Prairie, and they wore bonnets all the time.
Hey, it was a different.
But not to the airport. See, that's what people got. I know Kimberly knows, but that's what people are saying. I don't have it's nothing wrong wearing a bonnet. She means don't take your happy ass outside all wrapped up and looking like a tramp. That's what she's saying.
Put some shoes on, not no slides.
Yes.
But, put some shoes on.
And don't wear them slides that's got grease all over the fur.
Yeah. And
Get some good slides to wear out.
Look like bird claws.
But keep those yoga pants though.
And besides what you guys gave us about yourselves, Leonard and Kevin, I give you two the last word.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kevin.
No, go ahead, Chief.
Old school with it.
When this comes to cancel culture, don't be a part of it. Be the anti-voice of it. At the end of the day, all we really do for the most part is talk about the problem. Let's get out there, talk about solutions. Let's change the conversation, make the narrative something that's positive to actually make a difference rather than just piling up on the hate.
Love it. Kevin?
And I'll just say, let common sense rule. I know it ain't common. And I'm going to come on this last word out of a real strange angle, but happy 121st birthday to the late, great Howlin' Wolf, one of my favorite musicians.
Howlin' Wolf.
Howlin' Wolf. Chester Burnett. If you haven't heard him, go on the internet and educate yourself.
All right. That's the word. Hey, thank y'all for coming on. We're going to have both of y'all back on. This has been fun for me. I've laughed. My six-pack is not quite there yet, but it will be. I'm going to do keto and laugh again. Hey, for the rest of the crew, we'll see you all next week. Thank you for joining us.
RebrandUS.
All right, y'all.
It's motivating, inspiring. It's a conversation that needs to be had. It's Adrian The Ace Stinson.
If you're not going to help, don't hurt.
Eric Russell.
We need financial literacy. We also need to get over this level of fear that we have.
Anthony Goodson.
That my ancestors, whether they were slaves, innovators, or the first blacks to do something, their lives had a purpose.
It's unique to any other podcast. It's Rebrand You, Rebrand Me. It's RebrandUS.